Alright, guys, welcome to the session, and I hope all of you guys are doing good. So let's get started with today's session. So in today's session, we are going to understand about Anthropic Claude AI. We will try to see where all we can use these type of generative AI models. As in the day-to-day, we are using generative AI quite extensively, and we have to get expertise on the same as well. So that's why we thought of conducting a basic understanding of Claude AI. We have given a lot of open AI sessions, so thought of having one session on the Anthropic Claude AI as well. But before we proceed further, I'll give you a brief idea. So AI is a term which is quite old term. It's not that AI just coming in last few years. People were trying to implement AI for last many years. After 1950s, they thought of implementing AI, but they were facing some problem of storage capacity and processing power. Because of that, they did not able to create a robust AI systems. After that, they jump into machine learning around 1990s to 2010s. During that time, there was a guy called Jeffrey Hinton and his team working on AI only and came up with the concept of backpropagation and memoization. And they launched one paper, published one paper in year 2006. No one took that seriously. But in 2010, when there was a competition happened, ImageNet competition, there they also participated and they got very high accuracy. And then companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft, AWS, they realized that something big already happened. And by that time, they had a good amount of processing power. They had a good amount of storage capacity as well, because AI systems are looking for data. It thrives for data. So if data is there, then I can create a lot of interesting applications. And then after, you must have seen a lot of evolvement happened on AI, that is self-driving car from Tesla, Waymo, that is Google subsidiary, skin cancer detection using mobile phone cameras, all the voice assistants like Siri, Cortana, Alexa. So these are the things came in over the period of time. In 2020, we got a new set of AI models, which is basically generating the new content altogether, which is purely new based on the patterns machine found out. It is generating the response. So that is generative AI. And with that transformer architecture, a lot of interesting things happened. And now people are working on projects where they are using the GenAI and trying to solve the problems and creating a lot of interesting agents and agentic system. Right? So that is the power which we got. That is the benefit which we got. And that is what people are doing it. Right. So that was the journey. That is what happened. Now, generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that creates new content like texts, images, music, videos, or even conversations based on what it has learned from existing data. For example, it can write stories, answer questions, design posters, or even make videos just from your instructions. It works by learning patterns from millions of examples and then imagining something new, just like humans use their experience to create ideas. So basically, it's work on the probability, and I'll give you the idea about how it generates the responses. And generative AI is more like what? We normally think that generative AI is just for text processing or text generation, but it is not only text, it is about text plus images plus videos. It can be music also, audio also. Text to speech models are there. Speech to text models are there. Code generation. Claude is one of the very powerful code generation model as well. document generation, and multimodal models, which takes care of everything that is image, videos, and audios, and obviously speech as well. So imagine you had a super smart robot friend who has read almost everything on the internet, like books, websites, news, code, and more. Now this robot can write essays, emails, or poems, chat like a human, solve problems or explain concepts, translate languages, answer questions quickly. Then that robot is powered by a large language model. Right. Here you can see the idea, how the things happen. So if you see Vrindavan is known for, so it tries to gives me the most probable word. Now the probable words will be what? Devotion, spirituality, peace, and festivals. So here you can see that we have devotion with the highest probability. So what machine will do? Machine will generate devotion as a next word, as it's a higher probable word, and then it will again keep generating the next words as and when it generates the current word, right? So if you see, it is famous for, again, there are four words coming in, and then whichever is the highest probable word, it is going to give me the response. So it is like a probabilistic approach where machine does not know the language, but it understands the patterns, right? And based on the patterns, it is giving me the higher probable word, because machine has gone through lots and lots of texts, and from there machine is trying to find out which word is more probable word, and that is what picked up. So that is how your generative AI model works. So it looks at tons of texts and learn patterns, not by understanding like a human. Human understands the language, but machine does not. But by seeing what words often come together, right? So this is how any generative AI model works, and whatever the model is, whether it's a open AI model, whether it's a Claude from Anthropic, or maybe any model which is there in the market, right? So these are some of the models which are available in the market, most popular ones. Apart from that, there are other models as well, but these are some of the models. OpenAI, ChatGPT, you must be using quite extensively. Google Gemini is again one of the very powerful models as of now in the earth. Anthropic model, which is from Claude, like Claude, which is from Anthropic, sorry. Then Perplexity AI. Microsoft Copilot is not a model. Microsoft Copilot is a product which is running on top of OpenAI. So Microsoft has a tie-up with OpenAI, and Microsoft does not has its own model. They have some small models, but not very powerful model. So they are running OpenAI on top of Copilot, right? So that's a big misconception people has, that Microsoft Copilot is a model. So it's not a model. Meta has Llama. Meta has a Llama, which is a free model, free of cost. XAI has Grok, and Mistral AI has Mistral AI Chat coming from the European continent. So this is about the model. Google did some initial blunders, came up with a Bard as a model, but it did not perform well because they wanted to rush as well, because OpenAI already came up with the model. But after that, they realized and they created a Gemini model. And as of now, Gemini is the best model as of now on all the parameters. In this session, we are going to focus more on Anthropic Claude AI. So Claude is again one of the very powerful models. So as of now, if I want to see top three models, then Claude, Gemini, and OpenAI. These are the top three models which we have, which people are quite extensively using and uh, solving their tasks based on these models, right? Common myths about generative AI. So generative AI will take all the jobs. No, it is not. It will just take the redundant jobs. AI will always write. No, it hallucinates quite extensively. Myth is AI is too technical for me. No, if you are building some of the AI products, then it is going to be more technical. But if you are using only AI tools for solving the tasks, in that case, it's more like non-technical task for you. AI is just a hype. No, it is not. Many companies have implemented very interesting and powerful agents. So it is not a hype anymore. People are using and building a lot of interesting solutions. We can use AI models for learning and upskilling, research and idea generation, writing and communication, planning and organization, problem solving and decision support, data and analysis, creativity and content creation, automation and productivity boost, personal growth and well-being. Right. So here you can apply AI in all the different fields. AI is powerful, but we have to take care of some of the things. AI hallucinates quite extensively. That means it is confidently give you the wrong response, and you will feel that it is a correct response. That is hallucination, and we have to take care of that because we cannot fully dependent on the machines. It may give me wrong responses with full confidence. Bias in the AI models. If again, AI models are basically thrives on data, and if you're giving some biased data, for example, let's say I want to predict whether my employee will get promotion or not, and I am giving all the female employees who got promoted and all the male employees who did not get promotion. So in that case, you are giving a biased data to the machine. And here the idea is what? If you get a female employee and machine will say she will get the promotion, and if I pass male employee, it will say he will not get the promotion. So this type of biasness I cannot have in the data. Apart from that, we have to take care of the regulatory compliances. Data privacy and all is again very important. We cannot pass sensitive information to the models because it may use your sensitive data and get trained on that as well. Although there are rules and regulations, but still we cannot be very much uh, sharing all those PII information. Avoid over reliance on AI models. The reason is that if you are using more, if you are using more GenAI tools, right? So it may stop the thinking capability of us, and we have to create. For example, I want to send an email. So I'll go ahead and I'll first of all create a draft from my side, and then later on I can go ahead and I can ask machine to finalize that particular email draft, right? So there is a question coming is what is a model in, but a model is basically nothing but when we are passing data to the machine, and machine will understand that data, the patterns and all, and based on that machine comes up with some parameters, right? So model is basically more like a mathematical equation, you can say. You must have studied in your school. I'll give you a very simple example so that you'll get an idea. So for example, let's say I'm switching my whiteboard. Second. So as a simple layman understanding, suppose let's say I have experience and salary, right? Now I have a lot of experiences and a lot of salaries. For example, this guy is having 1 year of experience, 10,000 is the salary, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to train my model on this data set, and I'll get this thing, what do you say? Mathematical equation, right? I'll get one mathematical equation. So that is y equal to mx plus e, where x is my experience and y is my salary, right? And m is my slope of a line and c is my intercept. So basically from this data set, it gave me one equation. And now when I have this equation with me, I can very well pass any experience and I'll get the salary because I know the M, I know the C, and I know the experience as well. Automatically my salary will be coming in. So it's a mathematical equation which we got. Same goes with the GenAI models as well. It is learning on huge amount of data set and come up with these parameters, right? These are parameters which machine will generate. And I'll be using these parameters to do the prediction for the next words, right? So basically you can say that model is like a mathematical equation, which we are using to do the prediction for the next word. in the GenAI models, right? Now, next is prompts. Prompts are very important because prompt, again, I'll give you the idea. Suppose let's say I am creating one chatbot, right? Suppose let's say I am having a company called Pizza Fun and I am having a chatbot where I have the system prompt. There is a chatbot and there is a user asking question, right? And the response will be coming in. So this will be user prompt and this will be system prompt. And both the prompts are important. So here basically we have to give a prompt in a way that you are a pizza chatbot and these are the pizzas we are offering and so on and so forth. I want to give a proper system prompt so that chatbot will follow the instructions. If this prompt is not properly built, it will start hallucinating or it will get corrupt. Plus, obviously, prompt means what? Chatbot will understand the query from the user and gives the response. So if user is passing some question, there is a cost because your chatbot will have to understand that. And then the response will be coming in, that will be a cost as well. So there's an input cost and output cost, which we have. And that cost is basically we have to take care of. So that is the idea, right? So as a prompt engineer, we have to define a better prompts so that I will not have that much of cost involved, right? Every request will be having a cost, input and output both. So that's why prompts are very important. And again, if you are giving a proper detailed prompt, better your solutions will be. For example, if you see the left prompt, explain AI, and if you see the right prompt, you are a professor teaching a 10-year-old, explain artificial intelligence in exactly 3 bullet points using fun, relatable examples from everyday life, right? So obviously the left prompt is gonna give me the vague response, but the right prompt is gonna give me the exact response, which I am looking for. So let's get into the Claude AI screen as well. So this is my Claude AI, which is coming from Anthropic. And here I can do the steps, I can pass the prompts and it will generate the response based on that. For example, explain AI. So here what it will do, it will give me the explanation of the AI in a general terms. Artificial intelligence is the field of computer science focused on this, and so on and so forth. It's generating the entire response. However, if I take this prompt, right? You are a professor teaching a 10-year-old. So let's pass that. You are a professor teaching 10-year-old. Explain AI in exactly 3 bullet points using fun, relatable examples from everyday life. So here you can see that automatically the response which we are going to get is in a different way. AI is a super smart guesser, right? AI learns by practicing and so on. 3 points I got and based on everyday life, right? So this is what the idea is. When you are writing a prompt, you have to make sure you are giving the proper context. If you are not passing the proper context, in that case, what happens? It is going to give me some vague response. For example, here, if I say, make food for me. So here I did not give the proper, what do you say, proper details about what type of food I want to eat. So in that case, chef will create a random food for me and I may like it, I may not like it. But if I give a specific request that I want to eat paneer butter masala, medium spice level, served with fresh naan and so on and so forth. So in that case, it is going to be more customized type of food which I am asking for, and it will give me that food as per my taste. Same way happens in the AI as well. When you are asking any questions to your models, right? You have to define properly. It's not a Google search which we are doing. There is a big difference between the Google search and the questions which you are asking with your AI models, right? So you have to define the task rather than having a vague AI prompt which is unclear. You have to define a task. For example, I want to create a resume, right? Let's go back and let's build something. You can do anything from this AI, Claude AI. You can create resumes, you can create minutes of meetings, you can write an emails and so on and so forth. So here let's ask, I want you to create a resume for data analyst. So I have defined the task. Next is assign a role. So I can say you are a resume expert, right? So I am assigning a role that you are a resume expert. Provide context, offer crucial background information. Create a resume with 3 years of experience on finance domain, right? I want to create a resume for data analyst for finance domain. So that information I get, I passed in the model and set the guidelines, tone restrictions and all those things. So here I can set the guidelines that give me the proper job, what do you say, job title, job description, and also give me some tangible output. Tangible output as in by implementing this project, I got 10% increase in the revenue or something like that, right? So I gave the proper details here and then format output, right? So I want which type of output. So I can say that the job description, or I can say the job details should be in the pointers and make the resume in the proper format point wise. And later on, I can ask that you can export this to the document also. As of now, let's run this. So it will look at different sources, installing docx, and so it's internally doing some searches and trying to find out the details, and based on that, it will generate the response. Till the time it will generate the response, let's proceed with the slide. So whenever you are writing a prompt, you have to pass these 5 pointers that will give you a better responses, right? There are different types of prompting available. Zero shot prompting, one shot prompting, few shot promptings. Basically what it is, zero shot means I am directly asking without giving any example. One shot prompt is basically I'll be giving one example. For example, 5 plus 5 is 10. Now solve 8 plus 9. So I gave one example here. So one short prompt. Few short prompt is where I'm giving multiple examples that user is saying good morning, bot should respond wishing you a bright day. User is saying good night, bot should respond sleep well and sweet dreams. Now user will say happy birthday. So what bot will say? Generate that response, right? So this is my few short prompting where I'm giving some examples to the machine, and based on that, it is generating the response by understanding what type of response, what pattern of response we are expecting. Chain of thought prompting is also there. So suppose I am solving any mathematical problems and I want a proper step-by-step approach that if you're solving this problem, then tell me how you're solving this and solve this step by step. Help me understand how this actually solved. So I'll be giving the machine will be giving me all the step by step approach that how machine concluded the response is this, right? Role-based prompting is basically just assigning the role. You are a Python instructor, create a content for me. So it will generate the content as a Python instructor. Instruction-based prompting, write a summary in 3 bullet points, professional tones, and so on and so forth. I'm instructing my LLM to generate the response. Self-consistency prompting is again one of the promptings where I can give, for example, mathematical problem. And I am asking that, okay, solve this problem in various different ways and give me the best way, right? So it is going to solve the problem in multiple approaches and give me the final answer and which is the best approach. It will check it out. Retrieval augmented prompting is again one of the interesting prompting. Maybe we can discuss that maybe in some other sessions. React prompting, where we are going ahead and giving some reasoning as well. Prompt chaining is basically the best option to have when I am trying to solve any complex problem statement. We try to break it and conquer it, right? Rather than me solving all the tasks together, I will break it into smaller chunks and ask machine to do the smaller chunks and combine it all together and get the final response, right? We can apply some of the advanced prompting technique as well, chain of thoughts plus few short prompting. For example, here you can see that you are a math tutor, solve the following problem step by step. Question will be there, reasoning will be there, answer will be there. Some of the examples also I have given. And then I'm asking the last question. A taxi charges 50 as a base fare and 10 per kilometer. If a customer travels 15 kilometers, what is the total base fare? Right. So in that case, it will understand the above questions, seeing the responses, and based on that, generate the response. So prompting is again one of the techniques, which is not one shot. From the very first shot, you will not get a better responses. It is very much expected that your prompt will evolve over the period of time, right? From the first prompt, you will not get the best result. It's like an iterative process. But always try to include those 5 steps, assigning the task, role, context, guidelines, and so on. And also iterate and refine. And then also we have advanced techniques we can use, which is few short prompt and chain of thoughts, all those things. We can also go ahead and run it to make it more powerful. So in the meantime, you can see here, I got the nice resume out here. So this is the entire resume coming in, which was created by the machine and as per our requirement, right? So we got the document and we can download that as well. So this is the benefit which we get from, you can see how much time it took, just 5-10 minutes, and I got a nice resume with all the details. I can, when I pass the entire details, my education and all those things, automatically will get a proper resume as per your profile as well, right? So I'm closing this as of now. Now, what else can be done here? Before I get into one more concept called API, I'll play around some more concepts here. So one more thing I want to highlight here is that there are various models which are available in the industry, Claude AI and all. So this table you should be aware of. I'm creating one table. Key differences between various models which are available, right? I'll be focusing on the 3 best models. One is your, or let me do one thing. Let me open Excel. Let me write it. I'll share that document later on. So we have 3 models. One is Claude, second is GPT, and third is Gemini. If I want to compare based on the features, right? Long document. If I want to read a long document, that means context. What is a context? Context is basically nothing but how many tokens machine can remember at a single point of time. So Claude has the highest context length, right? So for long documents, it is very strong. GPT is medium and Gemini is good. Then we have safety wise. Safety wise, again, it's strong. Both are medium. Then we have professional writing. Where it is excellent, it is good, and it is good as well. Then we have risk analysis. These are the pointers where your Claude is better, right? So I am just highlighting the good points which Claude has. And last is enterprise usage. Here again, it is strong. Here it is good and good. So that is how we can differentiate. Claude is very popular in consulting, banking, legal, audit, compliance, IT, and HR, right? So Claude is like very extensively used. Now, what else can be done? As I mentioned, we can do a lot of stuffs using any of the models, not only Claude, but any of the models. For example, let's say I'm having this plus sign and I can upload the files, right? Suppose I'm clicking on this link and maybe I'm going ahead and choosing one of the files. Let's say this HR handbook, right? Which is a PDF file talking about some HR policies. So I'll ask, what is there in this document? So it has all the details about office timings, leave policies, work from home policies for a dummy company. Now, if I say, okay, give me the office timings. So it will read that document and based on that, it is going to give me the office timings. Also summarize this entire document in 3 sentences. So in that case, it will generate the response in 3 sentences. So basically the idea is whatever type of document you are passing here, it will go ahead and read that and based on it will generate the response. I can generate emails, write an email to my manager asking for promotion. I worked with various clients and gave 100% and improved the business and so on and so forth. So in that case, it will generate an email for me based on the context which I have given. As of now, I did not give any bigger context. I just wrote few lines. But the idea is what? The idea is that you can very well go ahead and you can pass as detailed context as possible and it will generate a nice response for you, right? So here you can see the email coming in with all the details which we have passed. So like this, we can use this entire Claude AI. But now what if I want to use this Claude AI in my own workflows? For example, let's say I have uploaded this PDF file and from this PDF file, I am asking some questions. But what if I want to use this PDF file in my machine only? I don't want to upload here. I don't want to upload here. I want Claude AI to look at my Google Drive, search for the document and gives me the response from that document. So how can I do that? How can I get the power of Claude AI in my machine, in my servers, right? How will I get the model in my machine? Because Claude AI is not a free software. It's not a free model. So how will I get it? So there is a concept of API. API is more like you can say a communication mechanism. I'm connecting the Claude model with my machine, and this API will help me to do that. For that, you have to go to this website. So this is the website which we have, platform.claude.com, and you have to access the API from there. I created one API here, my key. So you can create a new key. You can give your key name, and let me give some proper name, my key today, and add. So this is my API key, which I can copy and I can paste it in here. And this API key, I can very well use in my applications, right? It's a prepaid type of concept. You have to recharge your account first. As of now, in my account, I have $4.98. And now I can very well connect this API key with my Python solution. So here you can see that I created a chatbot where here is my API key, which I have put in Anthropic API key. And this is my chatbot, which I have, where I am just asking normal question. You are a helpful, concise assistant. Use the conversation history with relevant. If the user asks what they said earlier, answer from the memory. So this is a basic chatbot which we created with the power of Anthropic AI using the API key, right? Let's run it. Let's check it out how it is doing. So if I go to terminal and let me try to run it. Let's say Rahul is the user. So here I am saying, hi, how are you? My name is Rahul. So in that, your chatbot is giving me the response, and this response is coming from your Anthropic model. So now what happened here is that I have put in the power of Anthropic model in my machine. Now I am not using this Claude AI screen, right? I am not using this Claude AI screen anymore. I am going ahead and putting in here the API key, and it is accessing that. If I ask what is my name, so now in that case, it is going to remember the history, and from that history, it is going to give me the response that your name is Rahul, right? So this is how we can use the power of API. Can I use Claude with making presentation Word documents while I am working on specific files? For example, I can use Claude to import slide visuals using text directly in PPT. You can create, but not directly. You have to create your own application first. So there are various frameworks available. LangChain, LangGraph, Crew AI, all those frameworks are available, which is helping me to create the framework. So I can create end-to-end application, right? We can do database design as well. Yes, absolutely. We can do that. Do we need paid subscription? Yes. As I mentioned, it's a prepaid concept. You have to recharge it first. And now when I ask questions, it will just deduct money from here based on which type of model are you using, right? So it's a prepaid concept which we have. Okay, one more thing I want to highlight, just give me a minute. Yeah. So Claude has various models, right? So Claude has Claude 3 Haiku, which is a fast model. We have Claude 3 Sonnet, which is balanced model. We have Claude 3 Opus. It's a powerful model. And we have Claude 3.5 Sonnet, enterprise favorite, right? These are the various models which they have, which people are using it. So as I mentioned, someone asked that, can I create any data analysis or something like that? So I'll show you. I did not create using, what do you say, Claude API. I used OpenAI API, but I just wanted to give you the idea. So let me show you one example. Yesterday only I created one solution here. Let me launch this. Just give me a second. So what this solution is, so if you go to the raw data, let's say these are my telecom feedbacks, right? Internet speed is very low, very slow, and so on and so forth. So these are the feedbacks which I got from 100 customers. Now I want to analyze these feedbacks. I want to find out that how many positive feedbacks are there, how many negative feedbacks are there, and so on. So I want to go ahead and I want to run this entire process and it will generate a report for me, right? So this is the entire code which I have created. Let me launch this. And it is running on top of your OpenAI API. You can change your API to Anthropic as well. It's one and the same thing. Because someone asked, so I'm just discussing that this type of data analysis can be done using these APIs also, right? So let's run this. So here is my web browser opening up using Streamlit, which is one of the packages in Python. I'm using it, and here you can see I'll upload, assuming that the company name is ABC Telecom. I'll browse the file, the data file. Once I browse the file, I'll get all my feedbacks, and then I will click on Analyze Feedback. So now it is going to analyze the entire feedback and generate the proper report. I have a normal Claude subscription. No. Claude AI is different thing. It's a front end, something like ChatGPT, where you can use that screen and ask any question from there. But API is a separate concept. You have to go to the platform.anthropic.com, and there you can basically go ahead and get the API. Both are different. Claude normal subscription, I think you will have around $15, $20 subscription. That is different part altogether. What LLM is best suited for fine-tuning model? How does cost compare to fine-tune model compared to LLM model? What is that? I'm not sure what you're asking. As investments and see important keynotes. The Claude recommendation. If you're using this, see again, there are different aspects of it. When we are using the API key, it's all running in my machine, but your data is going to the Claude server as well. But Claude server cannot use your data for the training purpose. So that's why it is secure. But still, if you are not very much confident about it, then you can use platforms like Microsoft, Azure. So in Microsoft Azure, we have Azure OpenAI. So there what happens is that Microsoft is getting all the parameter values in the cloud server and it is not hitting the OpenAI server. I'll give you the idea what actually happens. Just give me a second. Let me complete this part. Or, okay, anyways, let's get into that part only. So there are two things. If I talk about OpenAI, same goes with Anthropic as well. So let's say this is my Anthropic server and this is my laptop. And I am using my laptop and API of the Anthropic server. That means when you are passing any document, for example, here I pass the document, this file, right? It is hitting the OpenAI server as of now. Same, it will hit the Anthropic server as well. So your data is going to the Anthropic server, analyzing it, and some response coming in. During this process, your data is going to the Anthropic server, but Anthropic server will not save it. They are bounded with a lot of laws, right? So they cannot save it. That's why we are safe there because they are bounded with the laws, and that's the reason we can still use it. and then the response coming in. But still, suppose let's say you are not very much confident. No, I don't want my machine to send the data to the Anthropic server. I don't want it goes to that server. Then what can be done? So for Anthropic, as of now, they did not have any tie-up with Microsoft or other companies. So for Anthropic, we have to go with this approach only. But for OpenAI, there is one another approach we have. So OpenAI has a tie-up with Microsoft, and Microsoft has its own cloud machine. Let's say Azure, right? Azure machine is there. Now, what Microsoft told OpenAI that whatever your parameters are nothing but y equal to mx plus c. M and c are the parameters, right? So OpenAI will share all those parameters to Microsoft in one file. Now, when user will ask any question, it will hit that file and gives me the response. So all the parameters are with Microsoft only. So in that case, it will not go to the OpenAI server. This is no longer there. So that is making it more secure, right? But let's say you don't want to do this also. In that case, you can go with other models, which are free models, like Llama model is there, right? You can download the Llama model in your machine, in your servers. Your DeepSeek is there, right? And there are other models as well, which you can download in your this thing servers, and you can use that. Your entire model is present in your server. Everything is safe now, right? So that is also one option we have. So here you can see analysis is completed. We have total 100 feedbacks, 40 positive, 60 negative. Here you can see the process data. Feedback was the text. Here you can see all these coming in, right? It was not there in my initial data. Sentiment, category, reason for the problem, priority, action required or not, which department it is belonging to. This is all done by your LLM, right? I just provided this raw feedback to the machine, the feedback ID and feedback text. What machine did? Machine created one extra file, which is the processed file. You can see here it created on 11th of March, today only. So when I click on this, you can see it gave me this entire feedback. Its sentiment, its category, reason, priority, action required or not, which department that ticket belongs to or that feedback belongs to, right? So that was done by the machine. OpenAI or Claude, anyone can do that. And once that is done, I'll go back to my front end. Here you can see it is giving me again quick summary. In the network, how many are negatives, how many are positives, right? In the customer support, how many are negative, positives. So that gives me again some summary. And finally, all the charts created by the machine, right? I'm using Seaborn Matplotlib at the backend. So these are the charts coming in. Top reasons for negative and top reasons for positive feedbacks. And finally, if you go down, this is the entire management summary after seeing all the feedbacks, overall feedback health, sentiment breakdown, and so on and so forth. And I can download this report into the PDF format. So once I download this, you can see here is the final report coming in. And this is the entire code coming in, right? So that is the idea. Same way you can do any other steps as well. So I'll show you one more example, last example. For example, here, I created one image model, right? So let me show you that. I can create images, I can create audios, voice, and so on and so forth, right? So here is one example for image model. Like this, I've created many solutions. So we have limited time, but whatever I can show here. So Streamlit, run image model. What happened? Yeah. So here you can see that this is my image model. So basically what I want is I want to generate an infographic, right? So image model can do that. Suppose let's say I want to generate one infographic on generative AI for let's say new joiners or maybe non-technical uh, audiences, non-technical, simple, professional, playful for modern corporate or which style I want bold and colorful. How many sections you want in your infographic? I want 5 sections, that is fine. What color you want? Let's say I want purple color, blue color, pink color, right? Here you can pass some details, also extra instruction if you want to. I'm not passing anything. And I will click on the create infographic blueprint. So first of all, it will generate a blueprint for me, something like a prompt, right? So you can see I got the prompt. Generative AI made simple and playful, non-technical, tone playful, and so on and so forth. These are the pointers which we are going to have in my infographic. Now it's time for me to generate the image. So under the hood, it is using the image model and it is going to generate the image. You can see it is running as of now. Microsoft Copilot, as I mentioned, it's just a product which is running on OpenAI. So Microsoft Copilot has a fixed subscription basis. But Anthropic Claude AI, again, there are two things. One is the API. Second is the front end. Front end cost is something like this. If you go back, here are the plans we have. So $17 per month and $100 per month for Max, right? So 17 is more than sufficient for us to play around with. I'm not having the subscription here because I'm using OpenAI quite extensively. But yeah, you can use this also. OpenAI also costs the same, right? And I think the Copilot cost is also same if you're going with the business licenses. $18 something is the cost. But when we are talking about the API, API is a different thing, right? Don't confuse with the API and this. API we are using for integrating my uh, model with my application, right? This is my screen where I am using the Claude's website and doing some chats. But if I want to create a chatbot for my website and all, how will I do that? For that, I need the API, which will help me to connect my website with the Claude model and the chatbot will get created, right? So that is the difference. That is a prepaid concept where you have to pay first and based on your this thing, it will generate the output, right? Here you can see that I got the infographic. I just created a basic one, but you can make it more customized, more powerful. You can see that this is the infographic which was created by the machine. Generative AI made simple, playful, and these are the images coming. So this way you can build your customized solutions. And again, these are some of the examples which can be done using Anthropic AI models as well as your any other models also, right? So this is what I want to discuss. Any doubts you guys have? We have 4 minutes. I can take some of the doubts. I hope you got something new from this. And if you like it, you can share the feedback to the team and we'll come up with some more sessions. And if you suggest any specific session or any specific topic on these Gen AI, you can very well let us know and we will implement and showcase in the class, right? I don't have the GitHub link as of now. I'll share this code with the support team and they will forward it to you. It works with Python, yes. Python is most popular programming language, which is doing all these tasks for me. So someone asked whether we have to be technically sound or mathematically sound. So mathematically, if you are not still sound, we are okay with that. But programmatically, we have to be good enough, right? Cool. So if you like it, you can share the feedback and we'll conduct more sessions like this. Recording will be provided, yes. And this is more like a very brief understanding of Anthropic Claude AI. And if you want any specific sessions on how to create the chatbots, how to create the RAG systems and all those things, you can let us know. And we'll conduct one session on the same, maybe with a longer duration. Cool. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Take care, guys.